Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice, known as the UCOV. My name is Nancy Minaldi-Scanlon, and I'll be your worship associate this morning. We welcome all of you to our service, especially those of you who are searching for a spiritual home. Many of us were once also seeking something larger than ourselves to which we could belong, a sense of rootedness to hold us as we create meaning together. We do that well here, though not perfectly. In this congregation, we strive not for perfection, but for authenticity and connection. Whether it's your first time or your 100th time in worship with us, we hope that you'll find here questions that stretch you, people to befriend you, and liberal religious values that challenge you to join us in loving boldly, living justly, and welcoming radically. If anyone is here for the first time and feels comfortable doing so, please stand up and someone will bring you a microphone so you can introduce yourself. We've intimidated you. Sorry. If anyone is leaving this week for the north or other climes, please let us know so we can say goodbye for now. Anybody going away? Okay. The only announcement that I have is that on the back of your order of service, go down to Friday, April 19th, and at 4:30 p.m., do not be horrified. Jerry Farwell is not coming. Just want to make that clear. Nor will there be a farewell, because happily, we don't have to say goodbye to Amy. Yay! And now I think Steve Leapley has an announcement.
On that happily nice note that she just gave you, right after service, I will be signing a contract and a lease with Reverend Amy to keep her for one more year, and she'll be living at Asta Linda for that year also. So everybody be happy. We certainly are. Thank you.
Not usual to have a train of unannounced announcements, but I did want to announce that the walking group for April 22, so not this Monday, but the next Monday, we have a special tour arranged of the Venice Urban Forest. So someone from the Venice Urban Forest will be there to guide us. We'll meet at the train depot. Please let Dee Dee Connor know if you can make it. She's right there in the front row with a hiking t-shirt on. Thank you.
One more. I'm making this announcement for Vivian Aldridge, who coordinates volunteers for the welcome table. We are in need of volunteers, and we have a sign-up through Sign Up Genius, which is an online app. If you are willing to greet visitors on a Sunday morning from 9:30 to 10, please sign up at the sign-up table. There's a sign-up sheet there, and then we'll contact you with the app. Okay? Thanks.
I'm here because I'm mad. I wanted to live in Asta Linda House. Guess what? I'm going to ask for volunteers too. A couple of weeks ago, many of you remember, at the annual meeting, all of you authorized the formation of a safety committee. This is nothing new. We had a safety committee a number of years ago. We are a liberal congregation. We often take positions that are contrary to what a lot of people in Sarasota County are for. So it makes a little bit of sense to pay more attention to what's going on. Now, for the past couple of years, Steve Leapley has posted himself outside, and he usually does all the time. And we're looking for volunteers to take that role. It's not a dangerous job. All you have to do is just basically stand out there and keep an eye out. And if something happens, call 911. We've never had an incident. But because we are, very liberal, and we live in this area, it just makes sense to do it. So I put a sign-up sheet. I'm looking for 8 to 10 people. That's all. It's not labor-intensive. If we get 8 to 10 people, every month and a half or so, it will be your turn. So if you do have the time and the interest, please see me afterwards, sign the sheet, and that will be it. Thank you very much.
John, do you have John Van Camp? Do you have one? I think this is the last one.
Good morning. So this is a reminder that the reconvening, if you will, of the Social Justice Committee, because for the last year it's really morphed into a right to read. So the reconvening is going to take place this Friday at 10:30. And I'm very pleased to announce Reverend Amy is going to participate with us. So see you there.
Anyone? Anyone?
Do you want to see me or hear me? That's the question. Okay, I'm somehow in charge of the Seder, the community Seder, so if you haven't paid yet, please see me today. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I have 2 things to say. One is that I'm really pleased to have my student, Virginia Rivas, here. She's going to play a musical selection for us, a piece that I played when I was a girl just about her age, a Bach bourrée that's transcribed from a lute suite, and she'll be doing it on the piano. And the other thing is that I'm very embarrassed to say that I, for the interlude, was going to play Gershwin Prelude, and I forgot the music. And it's on my piano. And so I'm wondering if you want me to struggle through it from memory, or do you want me to just play another piece? Wing? Does that mean try and play from memory? Good, okay, thank you.
Did you come here for a service? Forget it. We're just doing announcements. But now we are entering into sacred space. So please silence all electronics you may have here with you today. We light our chalice today with a smile and a wish that everyone will be welcomed with laughter. And so, to whom it may concern, these thoughts, prayers, good vibes, karma, cosmic forces, or whatever, we offer to you. If there is a you, or not. Anyway, we're setting this chalice on fire. Amen. Enter. Send.
Well, good morning, everybody. Quite a few of you may have grown up in churches where everything was very, very serious. You could not have imagined teasing the priest or the rabbi, the minister or the pastor. We're not that. Because community isn't just about going to church in times of sadness or need. Community is about where you go sometimes to laugh until you cry, to tell a joke or share a funny story that warms us all together with joy. And laughter is a way to heal what hurts, to recognize that our mistakes are not that serious, and to see the beauty and the sacredness of even the most ridiculous events. So today we're going to embrace the absurd and find healing in a hurting world through laughter. We come together today to celebrate as a joyous feast of fools, knowing that not only do we not know the answers, sometimes we may have gotten the questions wrong. Don't be afraid to laugh, and in laughter find carbonated holiness. Come and let us worship here together. And please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn this morning, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And as Lisa said, we have a wonderful special guest joining us today. Lisa, would you like to do any other intro? Are we good? All right, I'd like to welcome her to the stage. It's the time in our service when we do our offering, and as always, our offering is done with levity because giving should not hurt. A UU minister realized that he had never received a donation from the church's richest man, and the minister called him to try to persuade him to contribute. You make over $1 million a year, and you give not one penny to church. Wouldn't you like to give back to the community in some way? And the wealthy man mulled this over for a minute, and then he said, first, listen, buddy, did you know that my mother is suffering after a long illness? Her medical bills are several times her annual income. And embarrassed, the minister said, well, no. Second, the man continued, my brother, a disabled veteran, is blind and in a wheelchair. And the minister was very embarrassed, and he started to stammer an apology, but he was put off. And third, the rich man said, my sister's husband was squished in a traffic accident, leaving her penniless with 3 children. And the minister was just red-faced and completely beaten and said, I had no idea. And on a roll, the rich man cut him off. And I don't give any money to those mooches. So why would I give any to you? Here's hoping that you all are a bit more gracious on this lovely morning. The morning offering will now be given and very gratefully received. Thank you so much for these gifts and for just everything that you do for the life and the work of this community. Because church isn't about the building we come to on Sunday, it is about the community. And it's as a community of human hands and human hearts that we come together to share laughter and tears and to bear witness and minister to one another when we struggle with life's sorrows or celebrate life's joys. We're entering into a time now of sharing our joys and concerns. You can raise a hand. Someone will bring you a microphone. I'm going to get Marcia a t-shirt that says someone. Please share information only with permission. As always, you're welcome to come up before or during a service to light candles. But during Joys and Concerns, I will light for you. I have a sorrow to share. Please hold my dad in your hearts. He has broken his vertebrae once again and is back in the hospital. So if anyone has a joy or concern?
Hi, I'm Eileen Leapley. I have permission to share that Vivian Aldrich, the lovely lady who, along with her husband Dean, brings flowers every week, and she's also the one who asked for membership, people help at the welcome table, has been sick. She's over at Sarasota Memorial Hospital right here. She had pneumonia and was in intensive care. She may still be there. Luckily, her daughter, coincidentally, had been visiting, so she is staying and taking care of helping Dean out. And she does not want cards or calls or visits at this time, but she does want all of the healing thoughts that we can possibly give. We love Vivian.
Hi everyone, my name is Ana Dralios, and I'm happy and proud to announce that I'm a grandmother for the first time to a lovely little girl. Her name is Alina. I'm so proud.
And I'm Linda Taylor, and I have a celebration. My sister Barbara is visiting me for 10 days. Woohoo!
Hi, I'm Donna Jewett, and I'm a member of the Green Sanctuary team and the grounds team. And we are so delighted that if you look out this window, you're going to see a lot of the butterflies and all that kind of stuff. We've done a lot of work in the pollinating garden and the edible garden, and that's going to be continued on Friday. So if you can join us at 9 o'clock in the morning, we are boots on the ground. Get down and get dirty with us and have fun. All right, thank you.
I'm Eddie, I'm the sound guy over here. And I just want to update everybody on my friend who had gotten his kidney transplant 2 weeks ago on Easter, which is really awesome. But he is doing awesome. He is about to play his first gig with the band with a new kidney in, only one kidney. Steve Jennings, you are a superstar. Superman, actually. I have no idea how this happened, but he sounds like he's 30 years younger now. God bless.
Hi, I'm Tom Reeves, and look, Ma, no hands. Actually, I'm not the one switching the slides today. Our good friend Barb Gundy has been doing it for us, and she's doing a wonderful job. And while Pat and I fly away on Tuesday to go to California for a week and a half, Barb is taking over, and she'll be working as a part of our regular team. She's doing a great job. Everybody thank Barb.
Hi, I'm Serena Canarelli, and I want to point out to you two very important pieces of information in the Herald Tribune this morning. One of them is an article by Carrie Seidman on our hospital, our Sarasota Memorial Hospital. We need to pay very close attention, or that hospital is going to be turned around. So please, pay attention to what is happening to our hospital. Secondly, Roxy Platt has the best, and she actually stole the idea from me, but she didn't. I guess minds think alike. She has a letter to the editor that is very interesting in the Sarasota Herald this morning.
Hi, just a follow-up on two things. One, I will be away April 20 to 26, taking my sister, my niece, and my grandnephew on a R&R to Bermuda. But I'm gonna miss the Seder. I'm gonna miss the last singing of the choir next Sunday. And I'm also gonna miss a show at the Oslo that I normally go to with Marianne Kerner and Gene Spitzer. But if anyone would like my ticket on Wednesday, the 24th at 1:30, please let me know. Thanks. Dial M for Murder. It's a Sherlock Holmes mystery.
One last great fun joy is that we have our General Assembly coming up. Our UUA General Assembly in June. We still need delegates, so if you are excited to speak for us, please talk to a member of the board or to me. We welcome you if you've never done it before. It's all digital this year, so you can sit at your computer and listen to the meetings and vote for us. Little bit of a learning curve on how to use the program, but it's not too bad. If you're interested, please see me or a board member, and it is a joyful thing. You can ask any of last year's delegates. It was a blast. I'm sure Marcia would be happy to tell you how much fun they had. So please talk to one of us if you want to do it. May the love of this community hold everyone who needs love and concern. May the light of our community shine on the broken pieces of the world. May we never look away when we're needed. May those who are grieving be comforted and those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed. And may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant.
Our first reading is an excerpt from Comedy and Democracy, The Role of Humor in Social Justice by Nancy Goldman. Throughout history, one of the primary goals of comedy has been to illuminate the ways in which we live in the world politically and to critique our legislature and laws. In the days of old comedy in ancient Greece, matters of great import, such as deities, rulers, war, and peace, were discussed and scorned. Theaters were forums for civic engagement where problems were debated, corruption was uncovered, and injustices were corrected. In the Middle Ages, a European court jester, assuming the voice of the average citizen, could mock the king and tell him those unpleasant truths that others could not. We inherited this conviction that the typical civilian has a right and a responsibility to critique society and its government from our political forebears. And it is a guiding principle that has played a critical role in maintaining our democracy. Comedy is a social corrective, and a key to its success is that it favors the underdog and dismantles those in power. One of the ways comedy does this is by highlighting the absurdities in our politics and political leaders. Saturday Night Live has used sarcasm, irony, exaggeration, and parody, which mocks the form as well as the content, very effectively to this end for over 25 years. Our development as a nation, as well as our individual growth, depends upon our being aware and being informed citizens. Social and political matters impact our daily lives and call upon us for nonpartisan information, increased open-mindedness, and self-reflection. Laughing together connects us through our similarities as a species, in spite of our social and political differences. Please join me in 1 minute of silent meditation, thought, or prayer. Our second reading this morning are excerpts from Bringing More Humor into Your Life by Jim Towles. This really is more than just thinking positively. Thinking positively is just a different type of rose-colored glasses for many people who are resisting seeing the fullness of reality. With humor, we are enacting happiness. We are embodying happiness. Isn't it a beautiful thing? And along with laughter, it is important to bring more people who make you feel good into your life. This is a wonderful practice. See who makes you laugh. See who just generally feels good to be around. It won't always be the people that you think it should be. Ultimately, this is where we land. Although in life, there's often a transitional time period where many of you will have to get used to people who do feel good because you've been treated so badly by yourself and others that this sensation initially feels uncomfortable and foreign. If life does get too serious, or your spiritual practice gets too serious, then pause to let it go. Watch a funny movie. Find a joke online. Call one of your friends who has a good sense of humor. Or just laugh. There are so many reasons to let go of being serious. There are so many reasons to roll down a grassy hill or have a burping contest. Seriousness is often an ego game where your ego is trying to get respect and living in a little tiny box that can't even contain a fraction of your fullness. Many people will find their way to awakening through humor because the seriousness of life will have finished teaching them all that it can. There will be nothing left to be serious about. You'll start to realize that it's all a big joke. And this may sound glib in the face of atrocities that go on in the world, but ultimately, the cosmic joke is that we've made up everything. Most of these difficulties in the world are our creation. And we can uncreate them at any time as a collective group. In our lives, we feel this more personally. We see how we've gotten completely caught up and serious about our jobs, finding romance, making a partnership work, getting things, and so forth. Then you have to laugh. In that laughter, you are letting go because it's all just so ridiculous. And you're totally ridiculous. For some of you, you will be like the divine fool. You will bring humor out and show others the jokes that we play on ourselves. It is a beautiful path and a beautiful life's work. For most of you, you will simply enjoy the humor of your life. You'll enjoy the joke when you get sprayed by water on the road by a passing car. It's like, oh, I get it, God, you prankster. And you'll go home and change your pants instead of turning it into an unending story about how life has specifically come to ruin your designer wardrobe. Laughter and humor are tools like meditation, journaling, and everything else. There are times to use it, and then there are times to not use it. But start with yourself. Look at all the things you worry about and laugh. And laugh some more. And keep laughing until you can see them again from a different angle. You may be surprised at what they look like when you no longer take it all quite so seriously. Please stand as you are willing and able for our hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
sacred mischief, holy humor. These things sound like absolute contradictions, which is exactly why I want to talk to you about power and community and the role of the fool and about laughter. Now, when I say fool, I am not talking about the schmendrick that screws everything up. I'm not talking about a foolish person. I'm talking about a job description that originated during medieval times, continued through the Elizabethan era, and gradually disappeared first into weak clowning and then into theater. But let's start with the first fools. The court fools of the 13th and 14th century, they were not clowns, not in the way we understand clowns today. The first fools came dressed for the job. Wild bells on 3 points of a floppy hat, an inflated balloon or bladder on a long stick, which they used to poke, prod, or even smack those around them. They were a minstrel and an actor and a town crier, an interpreter of complex ideas. They were clowns at times, but they were always more than that. Being a fool was serious, serious business. The role of the fool, the power of the fool, was twofold. Fools of all gender could speak to royalty and commoner alike. They formed a bridge between the rich and the poor, a path between the educated and the ignorant, and they spoke to everyone, but they alone could speak truth to power. Fools could cause change and bring transformation. Society at the time was very rigid, and it was hard to step out of the role where luck or family or social class had put you. So nothing at all like today. And change could be frightening. And interactions between social groups were almost impossible. The princess didn't go talk to the guy digging out the toilets. She might not even know his name, even though he had worked in her castle for 10 years. And then there were the fools. They were born out of the tradition of the lords of misrule. The fools let the margins become the center, and they turned the world upside down. They often opposed the powerful with their wit and their wordplay. They were entertainers and social critics, and they mocked the pomposity of the great and the meekness of the poor. They lampooned everyone's vices. They taught wisdom by demonstrating foolishness, love by playing hate, generosity by displaying greed. And the fool would pull the audience into the show, making sure they understood that reality and satire were two sides of one coin. Now, the original Feast of Fools was a very early Christian holiday. And funnily enough, it was celebrated on the same day as the Feast of the Circumcision of Christ. And if that does not sound like a party you would want to attend, you are probably very right. And what would happen was a very low-level cleric, so a young monk or a young priest, was elected the Lord of Misrule, given a big staff and allowed to make ridiculous rules that had to be followed for the entire day. And it may surprise you to hear that the Lord of Misrule's life expectancy on the next day was that of a snowball in hell. Because very senior priests and monks had very little sense of humor when it came to being forced literally to wear their underpants on their head or to run around naked. It was so bad that in 1245, Cardinal Odo, then the papal legate in France, wrote to the chapter of Sens Cathedral demanding that the feast be celebrated with no unclerical dress and no wreaths of flowers. Apparently, the head monk the prior year had been forced to run about minus his trousers and with a wreath on his head. And so the custom was finally outlawed in 1044, but you can still see it anywhere where a child or lower level worker is made boss or ruler for the day. Religion is easy to laugh at, but the Feast of Fools wasn't meant to laugh at the weak. It made clowns out of those who were usually too important to be laughed at, and reminded everyone that they were fools for whatever divine there was. The holiday got wiped out when it was changed from its original purpose and just descended into mockery. Now let's face it, mockery is cruel. It doesn't have any purpose in religion or really anywhere else. You hear it in stand-up comedy routines when members of one religious group laugh at the beliefs of another group. You hear it with politicians. It is the opposite of cultural appropriation. Mockery is a type of cultural rejection that shrugs its shoulders and says, "Oh, we're just having fun. Why'd you get upset?" It's cruel. Let's face it, every religion at its heart is mockable. Religion by nature deals with faith and personal belief. Your personal belief may not make sense to anyone but you. We end up sounding like we're arguing over whether or not we believe in the same or different or any invisible friend, and we fight about whether my invisible friend can kick your invisible friend's butt. Every group of us has sacred cows. Any religion or religious position, including atheism, reduced to sound bites can sound ridiculous. That kind of mockery is not what we're talking about. But back a few years ago in 2004, the UUs had a youth con in Ferry Beach. They looked at humor and religion and examples of good and bad humor for each of our principles. And it was such a great idea, I stole it immediately. And our first principle is the idea that each person has inherent worth and dignity. And dignity and worth are what painful, abusive humor take away. Good humor makes us all laugh. I'll give you a great example. I have a couple of faults. You may be shocked, but I have some faults. One of them is that I can have a bad temper. And I'm also shameless about spoiling my pets. This can result in quite a bit of humor for anyone around. And so years ago, my late husband was sitting at our dining room table, and what he saw was a chubby minister go dashing out the door in the snow in her pajamas. And I came back holding a thing of Tupperware, and I yelled something about, "I'll teach that little stinker to steal from me." And without hesitation, my late husband said, "Did you just mug a badger for its lunchbox?" And I was so angry, I said, "It was a raccoon, and it's the cat's lunchbox." And by then, he was laughing so hard there were tears running down his face. And I was still mad as bejesus. And I learned to laugh at my own temper, especially when it leads me to chase the local wildlife in my jammies for a cat food dish. When we laugh at UUism, it should be that kind of laughter. Laughter that celebrates our uniqueness and our personality and those moments that can't be reduced to sound bites. We laugh because there's a grain of truth in the silliness. A copy machine broke down at a UU church, a disorder of biblical proportions. Because it was Sunday, the repair person could not be called, and the administrative assistant desperately needed more copies of the order of service. After fluttering around the machine in distress for some time, a member, more mechanically inclined than the rest, found the problem. "It's just out of paper," he said. Flashing box right there says "Replace paper tray 2." "Can't anyone around here follow directions?" And another member said, "If we were the kind of people that followed directions, we wouldn't be UUs." Our second and our sixth principle call us to justice and equity and compassion, peace and liberty and justice for all people. That means that jokes which target a particular group are often bad humor and tend to violate that call to compassion. And we seek instead compassionate humor that reminds us that we're all in this together. Jokes that sound like, why did the Unitarian Universalist cross the road to support the chicken in its search for its own path? Spiritual growth and a free and responsible search for truth and meaning give us a great idea about humor. Arguing with a Unitarian Universalist is like mud wrestling a pig. Pretty soon you realize the pig likes it. UUs are the people who pray to whom it may concern. What do you get when you cross a UU with a Jehovah's Witness? Someone who goes door to door looking for a discussion. The humor points out our differences, and it can be used to hurt or heal. When we look at the rights of conscience and the democratic process, humor can become satire or sarcasm. And the struggle is to keep the funny focused away from stereotyping or attacking, and to center the humor on the human condition. Now, I know most of you have heard this. How many UUs does it take to change a light bulb? Well, 300. 12 to sit on the board that appoints the nominating committee, 5 to sit on the nominating committee that appoints the building committee, 8 to sit on the building committee that appoints the light bulb changing committee, 4 to sit on the light bulb changing committee, which chooses who will screw in the light bulb. Those 4 will then give their own opinion of screwing in methods, while one non-member, who happens to be married to one of the 4, actually gets tired of the discussion and comes and changes the light bulb. After the completion, it takes 100 individuals to complain about the method, another 177 to debate the ecological impact of using a bulb at all, and 1 to insist that in her day the lit chalice was quite good enough. The interconnected web is our final principle, the one that reminds us that we are all fools at times. And the world will not end because today was your turn. Sometimes laughter holds us together when everything is breaking apart. A huge fire was burning in the town square, and it looked as if everything would burn down, and the Catholics rushed into their church to save their crucifix and communion set. The Baptists rushed in and saved their historical Bible. And the Unitarian Universalists rushed in and saved the coffee pot and the fair trade coffee. Our jokes shouldn't divide us. They make us laugh together. Because one day you've got the egg on your face and the next day I do. As we head toward another emotionally charged presidential election, at times when economic inequality has reached epic levels and racial and religious tensions are rising in ways we haven't seen since the 60s, we have got to remember how to laugh at ourselves and our world. When we share nothing else with our neighbors, we share the certain knowledge that foolishness is universal and laughter can be healing. So look for the humor that reminds you we're all one people. Laugh together when you can't do anything else. Welcome the chance to be a feast of fools. Laugh. Amen. We extinguish this chalice, thankful that once again nothing went up in big flames. May you carry the light and warmth of laughter and love with you wherever you go. And we are going to do our final hymn this morning, number 354. We laugh, we cry, verses 1, 3, and 4. So please rise in body or spirit. Join in singing number 354. We laugh, we cry. Go into the world in peace and joy, and may laughter help you always to bring light in the darkness. Peace, ashe, and may it be so.